Hi, welcome to View's annual Plein Air Paint Out. I'm Linda Wheel, and I am so nervous. I'm so excited and nervous to be with you to kick off the festivities. So the auction is about to open in an hour, and we thought we'd take this opportunity to discuss some of the work on display and available for your purchase. I do have some quick notes to let you know. We had about 40 artists participate, and we have paintings from 40 of them. There are 55 available for bidding. There was a lot of work that went into this. Each artist dedicated a lot of time and a lot of talent, not only to creating these paintings and having them framed and delivered here, but also to perfecting their craft. What you see on these walls represents a lot of time, a lot of talent, a lot of inspiration, and a lot of hope that you will bid. These works are 100% donated, and we are so excited to have you with us. I do want to say thank you and welcome on behalf of View, their staff and board, and from the committee. Donna, our fearless leader who has worked and worked, Betsy, Bill, Diane, Doug, Maureen, Meg, Montana, and me. And also special thanks to Heather, Connie, and Travis from the staff. Everyone on the staff has done work to make this happen, from administrative to cleaning bathrooms to feeding artists, also to many volunteers. Everybody's time and talent in making this happen in this very unusual way is so appreciated. I have never, in my years of participating in the Paint Out, done it this way. And so I would like to take a moment and apologize for anybody's name I mispronounced. Normally, an audience would be here and you'd shout out at me, like you said it wrong, or you're holding my painting upside down. You can shout at your computer screen or your phone, and hopefully the spirit will get through. This is new territory, and I'm going to pick up my earring back, and I hope that you'll bear with us as things are bound to go a little bit goofy, just like that. I still can't fix it. But anyway, we're going to start talking about some of the paintings and the painters who have participated and who have donated work. Oops. Like that. So our very first painting is by Ron Rakowski. For those of you looking at your auction numbers, it is auction number 109. This is Strand 2020. We've had some Strand paintings in the Paint Out before, and they're a favorite here because the Strand is one of the favorite spots for this community. Bob and Helen, who own the Strand, are some of our favorite people. They give us a space to imagine other worlds, a lot like paintings do. You can see on the marquee in this painting that it says, "Happy Birthday, Tyler." And that is definitely a sign of 2020. The Strand has not been able to open to show movies due to COVID-19. But they have taken advantage of the marquee to send messages to the community and to celebrate with us. And this is a beautiful painting. I know it has a special place in a lot of people's hearts, and it definitely captures the moment. Plein Air will do that. It's painted on site at a specific time, and this is a beautiful example of that from Ron Rakowski. Also from Ron Rakowski, we have a long green bridge. This is the scene from Green Bridge, and that's a popular painting scene here in Old Forge. It's probably the most popular painting scene in Old Forge. Sometimes you get the view off one side of the bridge, and sometimes the view from the other. But both sides are beautiful. It's a beautiful spot. It's a favorite jumping spot for kids with signs that say no jumping. They all jump, and it is a well-loved fishing spot. Now, trying to get ready, I did read Ron's bio. Many artists provided me with some details about their life and their career as an artist. Ron's did say, I like to fish. And I suspect that may be why Ron chose this spot. It's a pretty picture. It's got that fall color that's just starting to pop. I believe he painted it yesterday or Thursday, and he did a beautiful job. There's some great clouds, and I don't think I said this, but it is auction number 110. It's a lovely, fresh watercolor from one of Old Forge's most well-liked artists. He's a great guy, Ronald Rakowski. Things like this are going to happen. Sorry about that. I jumbled the paintings. But next is a painting by another Old Forge favorite, Maureen Heroux. Maureen is a Cooperstown and Old Forge artist who is very much sought after for her watercolors. Almost always nature scenes that I have seen, big and small. This is a really lovely sunny day. You have some great shadows and almost some white haze. You can almost feel the heat of the air out there and the cool of the You've got this red boat. It's a little sun bleached. It's just that perfect summer day. And it's kind of the days we love here. It's called The Water's Edge, and it is a very handsome watercolor by Maureen Heroux. It's auction number 107. Now, here is a painting of Macaulay Mountain. It's called View from Macaulay Mountain by Old Forge artist Jim Tracy. It's a watercolor, and it is a pretty iconic picture. Now, although the Green Bridge is one of the most painted spots, I would say this might be the most photographed spot from residents and visitors to Old Forge. It's our hill. It's our ski hill. It's our mountain. It does belong to the town of Webb, and as residents and community members, we all own it. So it is a part of our community and our lives. Many of our celebrations, our weddings, our special events, special days, wedding proposals, many of them have happened up at the top of Macaulay Mountain, looking out at the communities beyond and the lakes beyond. Jim was the art teacher here at Town of Webb Schools for many years, and has returned with a vigor to painting recently, which has been encouraging. He's joined with the Mountain Air Painters, which many of the artists I'll be describing have. They meet weekly on Thursdays and paint together. During this time, where there are so many restrictions on what's safe to do and what isn't, this watercolor group, this outdoor painting group, they do watercolors, pastels, oil paintings. It's been a real refuge, a place to have some camaraderie and creativity, and it's a beautiful painting of Macaulay Mountain. It is auction number 108. Moving on, I'm going to bring you to auction number 56, Jeannie Lampson's Old Forge Pond. Jeannie Lampson is an artist with a studio in Natural Bridge, New York. It's back where I'm from. I've known her a long time, and she's a fan favorite. She paints on Yupo, which is a synthetic paper. It's made of plastic. It's very much like a technique when a watercolorist would gesso the paper so that the paper surface is impermeable. Because of that difference, and it is a very different look than a lot of watercolor you'll see. A lot of watercolor interacts with the paper in its absorption. Jeans, it puddles on the surface. It's very fluid. It's very wet. It's very hard to manage, and it's very vibrant. You've got this great pop of red and this beautiful turquoise. It's got a lot of movement. And yeah, it is very familiar. If you look at this tree in here and these clouds, this is my favorite part. It looks so effortless, but to control that medium on that slick surface really takes a lot of mastery. And it's something that Jeannie Lamson's well known for. She has won a lot of awards recently, and her work consistently sells very quickly. I would suspect there's a lot of interest in this picture. Take a good look at it. It is, again, auction number 56. Below, we have Lost in the Woods by Judith Levins. It is a watercolor, a transparent watercolor, and on traditional paper. And you can see the difference where Jeannie Lamson's picture tries to dance off the page. This image and this technique is so soft. It's so subtle and beautiful, just beautiful. There's this beautiful blue spot. I'm on the wrong side. Blue spot right here and here, but just the subtle handling of these colors makes you feel you're in the woods with some mystery. When I'm in the woods alone, I sometimes feel as though I'm not alone, as though there are maybe woodland spirits. I don't want to sound too weird, but there's a sense of living and light in the woods. And Judy in this Lost in the Woods has captured this. There's nothing ominous about being lost in this woods. It's like being lost in your daydreams while you're in the woods. And this would be a lovely painting to live with. Some paintings really scream for your attention, and other paintings draw you in deeper and deeper. This is a painting that will draw you in. Over time, it will unfold. The mystery of it unfolds, and it's well handled. It's masterfully done. Judy is a well-known artist, many awards, and a very popular teacher. I think she's more well-known for her florals, so this was a real surprise to me, and it's a real joy. Here we have Heading South by my friend Milton Franson. Milton Franson has been involved in every paint out auction since the first one in 2009. Milton usually comes with his wife, and we enjoy their company, and they really love you. They hang out, they talk, they have breakfast. Hi, Milton Connie. I miss seeing you guys, but I got to say, great job here. Now, Milton works in a lot of different media. In this case, this is a watercolor. You've got a lot of that, a lot of colors that are going to draw you in. It is blue, and it's got those rich brown orange tones, very subtle purple in the mountains, your greens and your blues and your grays. And also he's got this beautiful white line. Now he left that and these sparkles in the waters unpainted. That is a traditional technique in watercolor to make your whites unpainted. And it's tricky. Imagine trying to paint a whole painting and leave out the part that you wanted to do. That's what he's done. I also see this flock of geese. They are headed south, and I think that is probably how he titled this painting. I saw the first geese the other day, and I thought, can it be? But here we are. It's Labor Yay, and they're on the way. So Milton's painting, Heading South, is auction number 53. Moving on to The Bend, Salmon River by Joyce Hanson. We're talking about auction number 57. Now, this is a pastel. I want to say I have seen this on the auction site, and it's just the way it is, that some art does not photograph or show on a computer screen the way it looks in person. This is also a good reminder, while I'm thinking of it, to let you know that these works will be on display. You can come and visit them during View's operating hours until the 10th. The auction will run till 5 p.m. on the 10th. And when View is open, you can come and ask to look at these paintings in person. They certainly look good on the website, but they look much better when you see them up close. Joyce's painting is just an astonishment. Joyce is a signature member of the Pastel Society of America, and she does show in major national shows. She did win Best of Show last year here at View's National Pastel Show, and she is highly regarded among her peers. She did just get entry into the Catherine Lorillard Wolfe Arts Club, which shows at Salmagundi Club in New York City. If you're an artist and you're involved in any of the societies, you know what a big deal that is. Joyce's pieces, they look photorealistic, and then you remember that they're done in pastel. I know pastelists do not like the word chalk. It is nothing like chalk. It is pure pigment, but it behaves very much like chalk. It's very crumbly. And it's very hard to make the pigment stick to the surface of the paper. Artists very often use a sanded paper, and there's a lot of techniques of scraping, of tapping, it seems unbelievable that she would be able to get this level of detail. It's really astonishing, and it was done outside. Joyce is a plein air painter. She did it from her car near her home. These trees really majestic. This is a big painting. It's a beautiful painting, and you may get a deal on it, but it's an important painting. And so if you were to add a piece like this to your home, it would demand a good spot. So think about that. It's a showpiece. So again, her auction number for the Bend Salmon River is 57. So on we go. This is Middle Branch Moose River by Diane Davis. Diane Davis is one of the mountain air painters who paints locally, and also one of our paint out committee members. Many artists who may be watching this know her because she often found you housing in the past and has worked diligently in every regard of organization at this go-round. It's been a different year trying to put this together, and Diane was pivotal in that. So she's a great person, but she's a great painter. Diane was an art instructor and retired. She always just knocks it out of the park on presentation. And again, I need to talk about her painting for a second, but her presentation is always immaculate. She always thinks about the way the painting is going to look on the wall, and that saves you a lot of trouble. All artists are fabulous, and all artists create some of them are thinking about their painting in your home. Diane is one of those, and just the presentation, it's very simple, but this bottom weighted mat, it is a lovely natural wood frame. But this painting is, there's this great purple. Now, when you look at the painting at first, you don't see any purple, but it is there, and it's what makes all of this pop and dance. You've got these great shadows. It has to be afternoon. It has to be just like a gorgeous, sunny afternoon on the middle branch of the Moose River. This painting kind of sings. It's got just an energy, and you can really feel the day she was there. That's one of the great things about plein air, and I just feel like she really captured what it's like to be here. So that's a treasure. Again, that one is auction number 76. Now, here is something very special. It's titled Biddeford Pool by Frank Webb. It's auction number 55. When this came to the auction, the committee, beyond excited. Frank Webb is one of the biggest names in watercolor. He is an American Watercolor Society signature member, but also their highest honor, a Dolphin Fellow. That is a very, very prestigious level of watercolor. He's one of the most sought after instructors in the country, and he has judged our show here, the Adirondack National Exhibition of American Watercolors. Friends with Murney, and a great man, very well liked. There are some things I would like to talk about with this. One, I just read Frank's bio. Frank is a World War II veteran. That's amazing to me. He did go to school in 1944 after the war on the GI Bill. Frank's been doing this for a long time. He is a pro. Now, I've seen people come into a watercolor exhibit or any exhibit and look at a painting like this and just maybe not get it. This big color block, these gorgeous whites that he left spare. The marks are very masterfully made, very simple. You see some pencil. It takes 50 years of painting to have the kind of confidence with this color, with the brush stroke, with the level of moisture. It's a masterpiece by a master, and I hope you'll take a look at this. This is a very unique opportunity to own a painting by Frank Webb. Those doesn't come up every day, especially not in Old Forge. To come down and look at one, I would encourage you if you get the opportunity to do that. Again, his painting, Biddeford Pool, is auction number 55. Next, we have auction number 73, Sunday Morning by Lynn Rogers. I hate to say this, but it popped in my head. You know that Lionel Richie song, Easy Like Sunday Morning? This painting is easy like Sunday morning. Talk about a painting that would be easy to live with. You have suggestions of birds. You have the softest, most crazy tonal color field here. Your trees. I don't know what it looks like on the internet. I'll tell you, in person it is so gorgeous. It is just so gorgeous, and I have a feeling it could be a bit of a sleeper. You've got this huge sky and this little landscape. I left out a painting. Can I go back? I left out a really important painting. Oh, Lord. We're talking about auction number 69. It's called Pines on the Rocks by my friend Martha Deming. Martha's an original Paint Out committee member. Martha is probably the face of modern regional watercolor. She is one of the most respected voices in our arts community, and a strong leader and a generous patron. She did do some judging here throughout the course of the weekend's festivities. I think she was able to look at some paintings and select some favorites, and some awards were given. I also know that she donated to help us to make this event happen this year, and we're very grateful for that. That aside, Martha is one of the most sought after painters. Also, I would encourage you to look at the consignment pieces that are available. Say one of your paintings that I'm talking about goes above your bid level. The consignment pieces are going to be on the internet as well until the 10th. Martha has two really, really lovely consignment pieces, and they're both way underpriced, Martha. They're both way underpriced, and they're a steal. And if you would like to own a Martha Deming, if you own a Central New York or an Adirondack collection, you should own a Martha Deming. Here's a bigger one, a flashier one. This is a huge departure for a lot of us who are familiar with Martha. Many of us have watched her for a couple decades. She was a pastel master, many little birds. Then came the period of the gorgeous floral abstracts. This new work I'm seeing from Martha is pure old school, back to basics watercolor. In all its simplest and expressive and most beautiful. The things I was saying about Frank Webb apply here in terms of where to just make the stroke, where to apply the paint. It's so confident, and it's beautifully framed. It's got a double matte, and it's just a handsome thing. It would be a real get for any collector here. Again, Martha's Pines on the Rocks is number 69. Now, we have two paintings by my friend Kathy Kernan. We're looking at Moose River Sunlight, painting number 70, and Otter Lake Cottage, painting number 71. Now, see, it says judge's favorite. Judge's favorite is part of the judging that Martha Deming did. So she came in and did select some awards for recognition. Kathy Kernan did win one. They're very different scenes. The Otter Lake Cottage is clearly Otter Lake. It's got a building. It's got some docks. It's got some structure. It's got some structural. It's got this fabulous, almost geometric splash out in the color. And again, the whites. Kathy is also known for handling her whites beautifully. Moose River Sunlight, you have a very different sort of vibe. This one I could live with. I do live with one of Kathy's paintings, and it is a very good roommate. It is just very wet, very soft, so expressionistic and impressionistic. Just one of those things where sometimes we let go and let life move. And in outdoor painting, sometimes that's where the magic happens. In the case of Kathy Kernan, she nailed it. I'm going to disagree with the judge. Martha likes this one better. I personally like this one better. But that's one of the fun things about art. I got to say the color on this is fabulous. But if I were going to go home with a painting at the end of this week, that would be high on my list. Now, I do want to say this painting right here in front of me, there is a lot of interest in. But there is also a tradition the last several years at the Old Forge Plein Air Paint Out that we talk about Kathy O'Neill's painting last. It's sort of like that tradition in Dirty Dancing where I think Johnny gets the last dance. No one puts baby in a corner anyway, right? So we're going to talk about this right at the end because that's what we do here. And in the meantime, I want to talk about Mary Murphy. Now, this painting is titled From the Seventh Lake Boat Launch by Mary P. Murphy. It is clearly a watercolor, and it is auction number 81. Now, Mary Murphy is an artist whose career I've watched for about a decade, and I've watched her whole confidence. Again, it's almost a form of mastery. You know, you think about some of these paintings that look like they were done very quickly, and I've heard people think of that as a detraction, as though like, I could do that, or that took 5 minutes. Why should I pay $500? That took 5 minutes. What happens is when you paint for 10 years, and you paint every day, and you paint every week, you become really good at what you do. And that's true for all kinds of skills, whether you're a locksmith or a plumber. I know you don't want a doctor who hasn't been doing it a long time. Mary's confidence has grown and grown, and in it, you can see the letting go. Again, I talk about that with watercolor. That's such a well-loved quality. It's such a value, because when you look at it over time, you see changes. You see what the water did. You see how the paper and the pigment all work together with the artist. And then you see this bold choice. It's very subtle. Only when you get up close to it, there's these blue mountains. And that blue is just a dream. Mary did a beautiful job with this painting. It would look nice in your home, probably. Unless you live in a tent, then don't buy paintings. They'll get wet. Anyway, here is another painting by another friend and a favorite of the Old Forge Plein Air Paint Out and of Old Forge people in general. It's Letchworth Bridge by Judy Soprano. It's auction number 50. Judy is a Rochester artist. And again, another paint out regular. Year after year, she comes with her friends. They paint in town. They have a grand time, and they brighten all our days. Judy is a masterful watercolorist, and her watercolors are very popular, but she does enjoy more oil painting. This is a beautiful scene. You have a winding river, a rapids, moving through the trees under a bridge. There's a lot of symbolism that could be made there. Paintings like this are always very popular because you have a beautiful path to follow and you feel like you could be there. Very atmospheric. Below it, we have a painting by Susan Robinson. It's entitled, You Make the Dawn and the Sunset Shout for Joy. I love that. Good job, Susan. Susan is another Mountain Air painter and another Plein Air Paint Out committee member. And you've got a cliff face here. You've got a sunset here. And you've got these very fantastic, almost spooky, really expressive trees. It's really moody. It's really beautiful, illustrative. It's very much like a children's storybook. I know that Susan is also a fiber artist. It reminds me very much of a quilt. It's a lovely thing. And again, you should see this in person. It is auction number 54. Moving on, we have Afternoon on the Flume Trail by artist Pat Mabey. It is auction number 72. It is pastel. It is pastel on sanded paper. Like I said, that medium is very It's very hard. It's crumbly, but it's very immediate. So you can make a stroke with pigment directly without a brush or a pen or something stuck between you and your work as an artist. It does lend itself to some of these soft, subtle colors. Again, that purple this year, with this gorgeous spring green, high contrast with that white of the falls. You can almost hear this painting. And then down in the front, you have this just dark underpainting showing through. It's just really beautifully handled. And it's a nice size. It would look nice in a lot of places. It's really nice that you've got a vertical here. So I'm checking time. I'm a little behind schedule, so I'm going to speed up. We've got the Moose River Rocks here by Milton Franson. Now this is Milton. We saw him again. He's a paint out veteran. This is oil. His last one was watercolor. This is that spot on the Moose River Road. For those of you who drive around here, maybe you let your dog swim here. It's kind of everybody's favorite spot, and he did a great job. It's framed nice, very rustic. It's look great in a cabin, on wooden walls, log walls. Just really handsome painting. You're doing a great job there, Milton. Really, really nice. It's auction number 52. And another beautiful oil painting here. This is auction number 68. It is called The Island Family by Nancy Lane. It's oil on linen. And Nancy, I just got lost in it for a second. It's a painting you can get lost in. I don't know what to say about it exactly, except that plein air paintings always do this. They always capture a moment. And I've been there, and I've been in that moment where things are starting to darken. The day is cooling down. And the way the sun hits something just feels like maybe the universe smiled on you for a second. And I like the symbolism of the two trees. That's always important. We stand stronger together. So I think that's a very handsome thing, handsomely framed, a beautiful piece. This is Adirondack Scene by Rebecca Griswold, auction number 84. It is a watercolor, and I suspect it is the same place, although I could be making that up. And Rebecca, I apologize if I am. It looks very much to me like that spot in the Moose River, our favorite spot. I think we're just tipped at a different angle, and that would make sense if a group of you went out and painted. At these trees, the way they look in the Adirondacks. I did read Rebecca's bio, and fairly new to experimenting with water. You would not know it. Just really lovely color and really nice addition. Thank you. Another Judy Soprano here. We're looking at auction number 51. It's called Barnum Trail at St. Regis Mountain. This is going to be a hot ticket item. I just want to say I was practicing memorizing this before. I read Judy's bio, and it started with the words, I opened the door to creativity, and I found my soul. She's a great friend. She's a great painter. She's a great spirit, and it's a stupid good painting. It's just beautiful, and everybody, I don't know anybody who wouldn't like it. I don't need to talk about it too much. Here is a beautiful oil below him by Mike Jacobowski. Had a little chat with him earlier. One of the few really oil painters in the crowd. He comes up, he travels a lot, and lives technically in Florida. He's here right now traveling, and this is a beautiful upstate New York scene. more toward Casanova Way. It's a cow pasture, ribbon of sun in the cow pasture. And again, we're talking about the light and the way that light moves us, right? And the green, that ribbon of sun, it's again a nice size. This is a painting you can live with. It will give you a sunny day every day. The next one we're going to talk about here is Sherry Wright's Moose River along Scoosa Road. This is auction number 78. Sherry is another mountain air painter and a really accomplished artist from Casanova. This has got some really fun things happening in it. Beyond the transparent watercolor, I think there might be a little gouache. Gouache is an opaque watercolor versus a transparent watercolor, and I think she may have paired the two, or she may have layered in such a way to give you this vibrancy. You know, I talked about another painting, singing. This painting kind of dances. You know, you've got this river kind of doing a boogie, and it's handsome. It's really handsome. It reminds me so much of some of our modern masters that you see in museum collections. So, running late. Solvay Process across Onondaga Lake in the Rain by Susan Murphy. Auction number 61. It's very wet, very rainy. So bold here. The beautiful use of that white unpainted paper. When you get down close, all the detail is in this line. And it is, you're driving down the road on a rainy day, and that's the magic that you get. I'm going to stop here and talk about, real quick, 2020 Plein Air Paint Out Anywhere Honorable Mention, as decided by Martha Deming, our judge. The Journey Across by local artist Greg Klein. Greg is another local favorite, Old Forge resident, great guy, great painter. Very moody. Very atmospheric. People are constantly asking me about his work, and just that weather, that atmosphere. You can almost feel the damp sometimes from his paintings. This one has a lot of light peeking through. It's kind of right now. You know, there is some darkness, but there's a lot of light peeking through, and he really picked it up in the water here. That's a gorgeous painting. Right here we have Racket River Rocks, number 74, by Catherine LaPointe Valmer. This is a charming little pastel, very vibrant, lots of color, framed beautifully, set back very far, pastel like I talked about, very messy. This will go anywhere and brighten any corner. It's kind of like popping flowers in the corner. Just really, really fun. Whatever you call that thing that makes up a painting, you know? Composition, that's the word. It's a fun composition, and it's really, the color, everything about it, just really great. Now this, I have to pick it up, is Morning Boat Shed by Bobby Flintrop, number 62. This is a gouache. Now you see the difference between this and another watercolor. It has a softer feel. Those greens, the whites. It's got a little structure. Feel like we're in a little park. There's little stairs. Seems like a place you'd find a fairy house, and you'd have a wonderful outing. It just looks like the start to a beautiful day. Morning Boat Shed, number 62. Now here's another judge's favorite. We're talking about Standing Guard, Donna Stoner's watercolor, number 66. Donna is the chair of this committee and a board member here at View, a generous person and an avid, enthusiastic painter. I remember her first paint out, and she was new to this. To see this, to see the change and the application, it's very moving to watch an artist change and grow. Martha Deming certainly liked it, and I know the judging was done blind. She awarded it highly with one of her favorites. This is a lovely thing by a very well-loved person here from our community. Below, we have Robert Riker's Otter Lake. It is auction number 75. Now, this has a touch of sketching in it, a little bit of pen, a lot of watercolor, a little bit of pen, maybe it is watercolor. It looks like a little bit of pen. It just bumps it up a little bit. Oh, ink and watercolor. It's very illustrative. And man, this little guy in the kayak sure looks like he's having a grand time flying through a beautiful day, white puffy storybook clouds. Right here we have Leaving Inlet by Meg Harris. This is a watercolor, auction number 67. Now, I talked about another painting kind of boogieing. This one's kind of swaying. This one does a really lovely so dance. It is so alive without being loud. You know, it's got the bold use of the white, the bold use of the color. Look at the blotching of pigment there. And you just feel like you're rolling through this happy day on the water. Again, that's auction number 67. I love it. Clear Lake, Deborah Doherty Wester, number 80. It is a watercolor. We're looking at a really charming, really traditional scene. Little structure here, lots of soft, pretty trees, some Indian paintbrush up in front to give it that pop of red, which are a nice surprise, but real soft, real pretty, real sentimental, very much the kind of thing people are supposed to live with. Now, as I approach this corner, I realized I was supposed to tell you in the beginning of this that we are going to draw the raffle for the bear. There was a 5-foot bear statue by acclaimed wood artist Mark Tyo, and many of you have bought tickets to support View for that purpose. I'm going to look away, I'm going to reach in, and I'm going to draw the winner. Oh, no, not him. No, I'm joking. It's Lowell Seifter. Lowell, congratulations. We have your contact information right here, and you'll be getting a call. You've won the bear. I'm going to stick it right underneath the bowl when you're looking for it later. Play the video back. All right. Over here, we've got my friend Doug Davis. This is a forest port scene. Doug is on the Paint Out Committee as well, and was a new artist a couple of years ago. I met him here, and he was telling me how much he loved to paint and to be in the outdoors. Doug is got a very quiet presence, but his voice really shows on the page. He's really mastering contrast, and he always had charm mastered. This is charming. You can see from the size it's very little. It's really charming. That's auction number 64. I'm going to pull the next two down too. Morning Stream by Bobby Flintrop. We're looking at auction number 63. Another gouache. And just, again, sometimes you can't do better than a painting of a beautiful place to be, because you can daydream and you can be there. I used to use that trick in my office. I had a real hard job one time, and I used to just put this painting right in my sight line. Also, I should encourage you to think about this, but you probably need a new Zoom background by now. We're about 6 months into this thing, and I know an easy way to do it. Next one is Last Resort by artist John Moore. It is watercolor and water media. It's auction number 60. Now, I did speak with John, and John is kind of an urban sketcher. The pieces that you see here look like they could be anywhere, but really they are from his home, his yard in Syracuse. He said to me that one of the things he finds so important right now is that we find beauty everywhere, that we look for it everywhere. We've got a scene with a little table, some flowers. I'd like to be there. I'm going to grab a drink first. But while we do, get your cursor on number 82, auction, The Woods Inn by Sally Storman. The Woods Inn is a landmark in Inlet and for the area. We celebrate a lot of things there on a normal year. Weddings, the Inflet Symphony Party. I lived there one time for a few months. That's a long story we won't tell. But it's just, it's a special place in all our lives. And if you love the Woods Inn, this could have a special place in your home. It's my buddy Montana Fletcher. This is entitled Moose River. Montana has been killing it with the awards. She's been painting forever, and she's a fixture of the scene. She did get an award this year in the Munson Williams Proctor show, and she's just known for that bright colors, that lively life, and that's what she's like in person. She's a beautiful woman, and she is really pretty, but she's got a great spirit, and it shows through her love of the Adirondacks, her love of life. It just shows right through. Now below it, we have auction number 59, Trunk of Ages by John Moore. Now John's that one I mentioned a moment ago who's been painting in Syracuse. This is a tree from his yard. And again, I think a lot of us are taking some time to look at the details. And he is. This is framed very subtly, very beautifully. It's not an intrusive painting in any way, but a lovely one. Next, we have auction number 77, Walking Bridge in Winter by Diane Davis. Diane is so great. Again, the presentation is spectacular, but the painting is really fun. It's very vibrant, very... it's got this path, right? And any painting with a path will take you places. And that's an important thing to remember looking at art. And I think she just nailed it, and I'm so pleased to see it. It's such a joy. Now below, we have another judge's favorite. We're talking about Barbara Foster's February. It is auction number 79. This is a treasure. Martha awarded it because it is a treasure. It's just so classic. It's just classically produced. The proportions of it are stunning. You have this great sky. There is the subtlest hint of color. It's a nice wash. Was handled so carefully. And then this white. Everything about this is soft and pretty. And everybody loves a barn painting. It's proven. So if you love barn paintings, this might be the one for you. Here's a little guy by my buddy, my favorite people, Loretta Lepkowski. We're talking about Great Camp Sagamore up in Saranac. This is auction number 102. Now, Loretta, another artist who paints in a lot of medium, she's very well known for her series of farmers, people, working farmers, passionate about life and about beauty and about people, and one of the nicest people you can ever meet. You can always spot one of her paintings a mile away because every piece has every color in the rainbow in it. And I think of her as just love, and you can feel the love in all her paintings. They almost emanate that energy, that just really niceness. Next, we have Meet Me at the Fire Circle by Julie G. Julie, I don't know how to say your last name. I'm going to try Gratian or Gratian. It is auction number 83. This is a mixed media piece. It's the only one in here. And it is fibrous paper layered very skillfully, very much like a quilt. It's very soft, and it's that classic iconic scene, red Adirondack chairs. If you want to sell a painting in the Adirondacks, you put in a red boat or red Adirondack chair. Good girl. It's a fire pit. It's a night. It's probably where a lot of you will be tonight. It's just lovely. And again, my friend Cheryl Fletcher, Montana Fletcher, Montana, auction number 48. This is a real departure for her. It's a town scene. This is the town of Old Forge, which is in the town of Webb. And this is a fun, kind of fanciful depiction, but all the bright colors. But again, a lot of our local landmarks you will recognize. This earring does not want to stay put. I'm going to move on and trip over this. And I'm going to talk next about auction number 92, the rocks at Crandall Falls. My buddy Stephen Fletcher has had a rough year, but his painting has not suffered at all. He's just a fabulous painter, and he's very well loved. He has a very dark sense of humor. A lot of you know him. He's a popular guy, and he has a real depth, and that I think is what makes his paintings so desirable. They achieve high prices, and you got this here. You've got the mood, you've got the darkness, you've got the depth, you've got the brightness, and you've got all of it. And also it looks like he might have taken a bite out of the edge of this frame. I'm going to ask him about that. Below, you have another judge's favorite by another well-known artist, Judson Brown. Judd is very well known in the region. He's been staying at Singing Waters every summer for a long time and has been painted. He is somebody whose work is shown in magazines, and I don't need to say too much about this because it's all here. It's gorgeous. Make sure to look at that one. Martha Deming awarded it. It's auction number 93. Now I'm going to talk about auction number 87 and 88. Bill Elkins. He is a urban sketcher and one of his, and a committee member, and a great guy, and a great teacher. We're looking at a structure here, and then we're looking at a tree. You can kind of see they're different but the same. If you're in the city, you may look to beauty in your structures. If you're in the country, you may look to a tree. If you live here, you may want in your house, instead of a tree, a building, and vice versa. We're looking at South Inlet and State Tower building, both by Bill Elkins, an urban sketcher. Really nice detail that he left the live edge from his notebook on. That's very, very appealing. Here's another by Mary Murphy, below, auction number 101, the viewing at View. Now, this must have been done this weekend because it's here. That's that curtain. These are these paintings. There's the Frank Webb. It's pretty cool, Mary. Kudos to you. If anybody's looking to buy me a present, I'd like this one because this is very memorable for me. We're looking at auction number 101, The Viewing at View by Mary Murphy. Now here's another favorite. Meandering Meadowbrook by Wendy Harris, auction number 86. Wendy's a master. She's a really well-known artist. She's been doing it a really confidently. She is involved in major arts organizations throughout the country and has a list of accolades a mile long. What I'm going to say about this is that this red showing through is just brilliant. It is so skillful. It is so smart. And I do want to tell you, the glass on this, it doesn't look like there's glass. This is very expensive, beautiful glass. This is the kind of present an artist of this caliber always is putting on. Pastel, there's no glare. It's polarized. You don't have to touch this paint. Take it apart in 10 years and get it reframed and rematted. It's perfect just as it is. Below it, we have West End Inlet by Pat Knapp. Patrick is a member of the Paint Out Committee as well. and a mountain air painter. For my inlet friends, there's a little rivalry always going on, but here's a painting just for you. This is the caboose in that Main Street and Inlet. I think Inlet is one of the most charming places I've ever seen. I got booed at a paint out one time for saying it was cuter than Old Forge, but let's face it, it is. And next, I'm going to talk about Thendera Trains by Drayton Jones. Drayton is, he's kind of a giant around here. All the other painters look up to him. He's a Casanova artist who paints fast. He paints great. I've seen him paint in a tux here in this building for one of our galas. And he's just very well respected, very generous, very thoughtful, and really talented. Above, we have the Plein Air Anywhere Paint Out Best in Show, as decided by Martha Deming. We have a street scene of Old Forge. And these paintings, they look like here, and they remind you of how great it is here. And they don't hit you in the face with the idea that this year was weird, even though they capture this moment. But if you look really carefully, it does say masks so subtly on this sign outside of Hollister's. I like that knot is there. It places it in time. It makes the painting more important, and it captures right now. Below, we have Nature's Gift by Loretta Lepkowski. It's watercolor and pastel. It's auction number 103. I can't say another nice thing about Loretta. She's the nicest stinking person you ever met. Here is a blue jay feather, another feather. We have sort of a beautiful nature still life happening. Beautiful color. Just all of Loretta's love in it. And above it, we have auction number 100. Otter Lake Rustics. I think that is the setting of this painting by Susan Robinson, committee member, mountain air painter. Again, we saw her painting with the spooky trees. This has just got everything. It's got that quilt-like quality. It's got her fiber background showing through. It's illustrative. It's evocative. It's narrative. Just these shadows shining through the lattice just give you a sense of being somewhere special. And Susan just really knocked it out this year with these paintings, and they're beautiful. I'm going to talk really quick over here about Kathy O'Neill's paintings because this is how we wrap it up. I do believe the auction has probably gone live. I hope you're bidding right now. I'm about 5 minutes over. So I do want to end, as we always do, with Catherine O'Neill. And just, I guess, take it in and take a moment. I know I was here the other day when she was shooting a video talking about this painting and talking about what the paint out means to her. She's going to do a much better job than I can. Catherine, like everybody, donates art every year, 100% donation. That because it matters. And she's just so stinking good. I do want to do a shout out to Big Moose, who I pick on every year. I am not picking on you this year for staying where you are in Big Moose. Don't come out. It's the smart thing to do. But this is a Big Moose Lake picture, and it is a showstopper. This is her daughter. Not sure which one, but two of them were interns here. They're both fantastic girls. I know that the Powers O'Neill family is watching right now because they love the paint out that much. And I'd like to say hi to them. And I'd like to wish everyone at home who made it this far, well, thank you so much for joining us and for bidding and for supporting View. Love you guys. Thank you.